at first when I read the story, I thought, did I read this before? This is deja vu. This is like the third or fourth time I've seen this story, but it's uh, a TikToker recorded the police delivering their DoorDash order after their driver was arrested. And this is a recent one. This is not, the one that happened last month or a couple months before. This is a fresh one. And it's concerning because it's kind of becoming a trend. And I think it's, obviously we hear about it when the people who have the food delivered, A, have TikTok, and B, have a Ring doorbell camera. But how often is this happening not on camera? If this is happening this often on camera, that's something that comes to the back of my mind. And we've talked about the fact that, these background checks for these gig apps is really kind of just a racket. It's just collecting that fee. They're not really preventing too much. There's a lot that they let through. But I mean, it's becoming, I think, a little concerning that, there's this many gig drivers with warrants out there. Not sure if it's before they signed up or if it's something that happened after. But yeah, I mean, the other thing I wonder about too is how often, does the police arrest a driver and just get a free bag of Taco Bell and then the customer just has to, mark it undelivered.
So the other thing,
more often than not.
the other thing though too is that if you look into it, you're allowed to let other people work your Uber Eats.
I've heard that.
So you can go get your $29 checker background check. You could pass it or you could fail it. Who knows? But if you pass it, even if you had a felony or something, but let's say you didn't. Let's say you were clean, you passed it. You could then hand off your account to anybody, though, and they could all be felons.
That's interesting. See, I've heard that. Now, is it that you can actually hand off your account or that you can basically have them like deliver like under your name or like how does that work?
Yeah, however it works, as long as it's not passengers, you're allowed to do that. That's weird to me. That's very weird to me.
I think it would be more so, it'd be more so I could have a felon with me delivering the food versus I can just have the felon imposes me.
Yeah.
That opens up so many other issues.
Yeah, I really don't understand this, but I feel like this has happened before, and I feel like most of the time the police do deliver the food, though. I always wonder if they do it with the guy in the back.
Like you go to the station and I'll deliver this order, and then like they deliver the food. They're like, "Hey, yeah, I don't know. He ate one of your burgers and drank soda." Here you go.
I mean, do they still swipe deliveries completed? Where the money goes? Like that's.
I feel like I get deactivated on top of it. Yeah. Zoomed guilt here, and just because you're arrested doesn't mean that you're guilty. It just means you can't deliver that order. You could be totally, you could be good. Yeah, you're just indisposed at the moment. So
yeah,
but if you come back and you could be like I'm back on it the next day. It could be something stupid as a bunch of tickets that got you a bench warrant and now you're picked up.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I just think that I don't know. I think it's ridiculous that you can let people ride, and like Chris had mentioned that you could rent it out. I do see where a couple people are, there was a couple comments from Brandon here and one here about the photo verification, and I'd like to address that because in Europe, they've photo identification is complete bomb fail. It doesn't distinguish women, people of color, people of different races. Here, I think that the facial recognition was primarily about masking, and that's all it was just making sure your mouth was covered.
Yeah.
So really, it's not. We're not dealing with true facial recognition. So to be honest, I don't even know why they're making you take a photo when delivering food, because they don't care. I mean, I don't know why that's even still a thing.
Well, I've heard with Uber Eats that specifically they check your background like once every 12 months or once a year or something like that. So that's why they catch those things that if somebody was clean when they got on there and, something happened in that year after that they find those and they get those people off the platform more often than the other ones do, or DoorDash specifically, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, if you're allowed to do this, and I know you are, even on Uber Eats, why do they care about first of all, their photo verification only does, it was only making sure you had a mask on. So if that's the case, then why care? Because you can already let other people work your platform.
Well, I know that Uber Eats now, even post mask, I know like nowadays, they still ask me to take my picture, and I know they don't have the mask in the platform. So they have something else outside of the mask, but I don't know what it's for though.
Right.
Now I will say that you can't just all these terms of service. You can't just be like, okay, John, go deliver for me. I can't do that. There is certain protocols that you have to do either beforehand or after in order to stay in line with the terms of service. Like DoorDash, you must actually have a background check done on the person that is going to be working for you. You must alert DoorDash in advance so many days before they start working on your profile and things of that nature. It's not like just, here, John, go dash for me. You know,
Mhm.
so even if you do all that, you know, and I'm pretty sure on DoorDash is, or on Uber Eats, part of this with the verification pictures and things, if it did come back and they're like, oh, that's not you, you can be like, hey, here's my evidence. I submitted it to you in accordance with your terms of service, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe it's just like they ADT contacts you and says, hey, did you rent your car out today? Yeah, I did. Okay.
No, that's the real hustle. You rent out, you tour your car, and as well as you tour your DoorDash account. You sign up for DoorDash and you never leave your house.
Right.